Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good evening or good night. This is Jen at JensArtyInclinations, a place to create, share and play. Hello everyone. Ephemera is hosted by Luise Heinzl and also by Barbara over at 49 Dragonflies. And today's prompt is paper bag handle and slow stitching. So I have a stash of paper bag labels, and then I also have this awesome picture which is of, slow stitching. And I love how they did the back of the picture as well. And then I have my own little slow stitching scroll that I did ages ago. And I like putting these into my books from time to time. So that's what we're going to do today. Again, another really lovely, quick and easy video. So I've just got a little card and I'm writing beside the card that it's a slow stitch scroll. And I did it, I think, around 2022. So, look, that's a guess. And then I just, add my name, Jen. But then it's sort of like a display little page just for that particular piece of slow stitching. Then I just use the edge of my dobber to do some faint lines, like just to give a little indication. Inking around the edges, and on the back I'm doing some lines so that if someone wants to write some notes they can, and then just inking around everything to put it in. So this little piece I'm using the paper bag handles as the hinges, so that makes it really easy. So this is a page with a flip, with a hinge, with all sorts of things. Now they've got a bit of shininess. No, that's not the right word. They're a bit hard to stick down sometimes. So I am putting some little masking tape pieces across as well, just to make sure that that hinge definitely holds. And then more glue and my next paper bag hinge. And then we've got the piece hinged in that I'm going to do my little scroll onto. And then I'll also do the opposite page. So just making sure it's sitting nicely, that it's folding nicely. It works terrifically as a hinge. I love the colours in the book. And, I do some stitching on camera. I decided I'd just do a couple of tack stitches. In fact, not a couple, I did 3. And just to hold the scroll onto the page, because that way I can always remove it if I want to use it for something else later, or I can leave it in here. And because it's just normal cotton, it doesn't show up overly when you actually look through, so it's okay that it's just tacked in. But I mean, if I was doing this as a little professional piece, I'd obviously use either a contrasting cotton, or I would do smaller pieces that only caught through the stitching on the back to stick it on. But this is Ephemera. For me, it's fast and fun and just mucking about. So that's what I'm going with. See, this next stitch, the last stitch, is actually quite hidden because it's in under all of that bulkiness there that I've got with the eyelash trim that I slow stitched onto the little scroll. So anyway, I'm just doing a couple of slip knots through the back so that I can tighten up that tack and make sure it sits down. I could have put that bottom tack down a little bit lower. Didn't quite get there, but yeah, it works really well. I'm actually really happy with how this sits, and I really should do this more with, my stitching and my cross stitch and all of those sorts of things. So yeah, see, it's not very noticeable, these tack stitches. They're there, but they're not hugely in your face. They're not overpowering. So as I say, I love that the back of this picture is the back of the actual piece of work originally. I thought that was so clever. Anyway, just putting the paper bag handles over the masking tape again so that I've got the same hinge here. And I mean, this does work as a hinge on its own. The masking tape is just a safety. So that's the one on the outside. I love that it overlaps in the page underneath. That's the one on the inside. And then there you go. That's a little hinge. And it just sort of makes that page a bit of a theme, I thought just this little edge piece looked nice in there. put a bit of a thumb hole in that stitching picture so that you knew that you can actually pick it up. You know, rounding corners, it's always a nice little finish. Just inking those corners once I've chopped them off again to make sure that they are still sitting there. Now, originally what I thought was I'd just do some text stamping underneath like this. So I've done that on both sides, and then I felt like it did need a little bit more contrast, but I go back to that in a second. Firstly, just doing this little label on the corner there, you know, working out, can't decide which angle I'll have it at, and there you go. Now it's stuck down, so that's it. So underneath, I thought it did need just a slight bit more contrast, so I just tore up some book page, inked around the edges and added that underneath, and I think that just lifts it all, pulls it all together, and there you go. That is today's prompt for Defemorambra. Hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you, goodness, next week now. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw today. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you next time. And in the meantime, keep creating. Enjoy.